Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. How Savannah Chrisley broke Nick Kerdiles' death to Todd. Savannah Chrisley shared the news that Nick Kerdiles passed away to her dad, Todd Chrisley, at the Pensacola prison. Although they were no longer engaged before his death, the family loved him dearly. Describing that terrible day, the Chrisley knows best alum bared her heart, and it seemed to be devastating. Savannah Chrisley took the news about Nick very emotionally. Chase Chrisley and Nick were friends, and Savannah fell in love with him. About 5 years ago, Chrisley knows best fans thought that the relationship might not last. After all, Todd became so involved in their future wedding plans that viewers mocked him. Many people thought it was doomed to fail. However, things remained friendly between the different parties involved. Nick Kerdiles passed away in September 2023 at the age of just 29. The fatal bike accident news brought reactions from the family, including Todd and Julie Chrisley. Now people know that Todd found out via his daughter, and in a podcast, she opened up about what went down. Additionally, she mentioned that Julie thought of Nick as a son, and she felt sad for his real parents. Actually, viewers thought it was painful to watch as Savannah took Nick's death very emotionally, telling Todd Chrisley about the death of Nick Kerdiles. On her Unlocked podcast, Todd's daughter has been reading letters from her mom in prison. In the most recent episode, on March 26, she read out a letter that Julie wrote after she heard that Nick Kerdiles had passed away. That made the former reality TV star very sad. Talking about that day, Todd Chrisley's daughter described how awful it was telling him about the passing of her former fiancé. Savannah Chrisley was tearful as she related her tale, and it turned out that she was just about to visit her dad when the news arrived. She added, realizing something was wrong, Todd Chrisley naturally asked her what was up, and all she could say was Nick. The Chrisley Knows Best star elaborated on how hard it was telling him that. However, she also said, I'm also so grateful that God allowed me to be the one to tell him so he didn't have to be alone when he heard the news. The walls of FPC Pensacola were cold and unforgiving, even in the sticky heat of a late September morning. Todd Chrisley sat quietly in the communal area, a tattered Bible resting in his lap, his eyes unfocused as he half listened to a sermon on the prison television. He had been trying to stay positive, focusing on faith, journaling, and the sporadic letters from Savannah. But that morning, something felt off. A heaviness in the air, a stillness in his chest. Call it intuition, or maybe just a father's sixth sense. He wasn't expecting a video call, especially not one marked urgent. The guard called his name, more solemn than usual, and pointed toward the visitation phone booth. Todd rose with a puzzled look and a knot forming in his stomach. Savannah never video called during the week, only on Sundays, after her podcast recordings and family errands. When her face flickered onto the screen, Todd immediately knew something was wrong. Savannah's usually glowing features were pale, her eyes glassy and red-rimmed. Her blonde hair was pulled into a messy bun, and she wore a plain gray sweatshirt. No makeup, no filters, no put-together glam. Just raw, unfiltered pain. Daddy, she whispered, barely audible. Todd's heart sank. Savannah, what's going on? Is it your mama? Chloe? Grayson? She shook her head, her lips trembling. No. They're okay. Everyone's okay, physically at least. But, Daddy, I need you to just breathe. Todd leaned forward, gripping the sides of the phone. Tell me what's going on. A pause. Savannah wiped her eyes with her sleeve, as if trying to compose herself for just one more minute. It's Nick, she finally said. He's gone. Todd stared at her, blinking. What do you mean? He died in a motorcycle accident. Early this morning. Her voice cracked on the last word. A car ran a stop sign. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. The words didn't register. Not at first. Are you sure? Todd asked, his voice hollow. You're sure it was him? Savannah nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks now. I saw the report. I talked to his mom. Daddy, I was supposed to have lunch with him next week. We were just starting to become friends again. Todd sat back in the booth, stunned. His breath caught in his throat as reality crashed into him like a freight train. Nick, the young man who once called him sir and nervously asked permission to marry his daughter. The former hockey star with the charming smile and the protective heart. The one Todd, despite the breakup, had still quietly hoped might find his way back to their family. How? Todd whispered. Savannah repeated the details, gently, slowly. She knew how Todd processed grief. He needed order, facts, timelines. It happened late last night. In Nashville. He was wearing a helmet. It wasn't his fault, Daddy. The other driver didn't stop. Todd clenched his jaw. That boy had so much life left. Savannah nodded. He just texted me yesterday. Said he was finally feeling like himself again. He'd been doing so well. He was trying. The tears finally came from Todd, silent and slow. In prison, emotion was currency, and vulnerability could make you a target. But in that moment, none of it mattered. His baby girl was on the other side of the screen, broken, and he couldn't even reach out to hold her. I should have told him, Todd murmured. I should have told him I was proud of him, that I never stopped praying for him. You did, Daddy. You did in your own way. There was a long silence between them, filled only by quiet sobs and the distant hum of prison life behind Todd. I didn't know how to tell you, Savannah finally said. I sat in my car for over an hour, just trying to figure it out. I didn't want you to hear it from anyone else. I knew it had to come from me. Todd looked up at her again. Thank you. That means the world. They talked for a while longer about Nick's final days, about the outpouring of love on social media, about how Chloe had asked where Uncle Nick went, and how Savannah hadn't found the right words. Savannah admitted she hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, just floated from room to room in her condo, replaying every memory she had of him. Todd, surprisingly, was the one who found a small flame of strength. You're going to get through this, he told her. And I want you to remember something. Savannah looked at him, eyes still brimming. God didn't take Nick to punish anyone. Sometimes the brightest lights burn quickest. And I believe, with every ounce of my being, that Nick's in a better place now. Peaceful. Whole. She nodded slowly. Do you think he forgave me? For how things ended? Savannah, Todd said, firmly, that man never stopped loving you. You two were just in different chapters, but that doesn't mean he ever carried hate. And you didn't either. They both cried then, father and daughter, separated by walls and rules, but held together by heartbreak and love. I'm going to speak at his memorial, Savannah said. I want to honor him the right way. For Chloe, for me, and for you. I'll tell everyone what a kind heart he had. Todd gave her a nod. Tell them he was family. That'll never change. As the minutes wound down and the guard signaled that the call had to end, Savannah looked directly into the camera. I love you, Daddy. I love you more, sweetheart. And tell Nick's family, we're praying. Every day. The screen went black. Back in his cell, Todd lay on the bottom bunk, staring up at the concrete above him. For the first time in a long time, he didn't pray for himself. He prayed for Nick, for Savannah, and for the strength to help his family grieve from behind bars.